Byte of Truth. Eyes growing pains.
Hello and welcome to Byte of Truth, the podcast that cuts through the noise to get to the heart of what's really happening in tech. I'm your host, Sébastien. This week, we're talking about AI's awkward adolescence. It's a phase full of surprises, some hilarious, some deeply concerning. We're going to look at 3 stories that perfectly capture this moment. First, what happens when you give a large language model a physical body? Well, it turns out you might get a surprise stand-up routine from a robot channeling the ghost of Robin Williams. It's funny, sure, but it also opens up a strange new chapter in human-AI interaction. Then, we'll pivot from the personality of AI to its appetite. The computational power needed for all this AI is immense, and the energy bill is coming due. We'll explore why consumers in Europe are starting to push back against the data centers powering their favorite apps, and what that means for the future of AI expansion. Finally, we'll zoom in on a European company that's been quietly building a global empire. They just bought a piece of internet history, AOL. We'll unpack the story of bending spoons and ask what their rise says about the maturing of the European tech scene. 3 stories, 1 theme. The growing pains of a technology that is simultaneously incredibly promising and fundamentally messy. Let's get into it.
Robot on stage when AI gets a body.
All right, let's start with a laugh. Researchers at a company called Andon Labs recently decided to run a little experiment. They took a few different off-the-shelf large language models, the brains behind chatbots like ChatGPT, and they embodied them. They put them inside a small, wheeled robot, essentially a high-tech vacuum cleaner, and gave it a simple mission: wander around a room, identify objects, and talk about them. Now, you might expect it to say things like, "I see a table," or "There is a chair," and sometimes it did. But with one of the models, something unexpected happened. As the robot was moving around, it suddenly began to perform. It started dropping one-liners, adopting an energetic, fast-talking persona, and generally acting like a classic stand-up comedian. The researchers were baffled until it hit them. The AI was channeling Robin Williams. It had pulled from the vast expanse of its training data, the entire internet, countless movie scripts, transcripts, and interviews, and latched onto the comedic style of one of the most famous improvisers of all time. So, why did this happen? Is our future one of robot butlers who spontaneously launch into a routine from Good Morning Vietnam? Well, maybe. This isn't a bug in the traditional sense. It's a feature of how these models work. They are giant pattern-matching machines. They don't understand Robin Williams, but they have statistically absorbed his cadence, his style, his vocabulary. When given a voice and a body, it manifested one of its most potent cultural imprints. This is what experts call embodied AI. It's the idea that AI needs to interact with the physical world to truly become intelligent. And this experiment shows us just how unpredictable that can be. An AI in a chat window is one thing. It's contained. But an AI in a robot in your home or office? It's learning from and reacting to the environment in real time, and its personality could be shaped by everything it's ever seen online. This raises a wonderfully weird and slightly provocative question. Are we ready for AI assistants that might develop unpredictable personalities based on our pop culture? What happens when your smart home assistant, trained on the same data, decides it's more of a nihilistic philosopher than a helpful aide because it spent too much time analyzing Reddit threads? The Robin Williams robot is a funny, harmless glimpse into that future. It's a perfect example of AI's growing pains. It's brilliant. It's a little bit magic, and it's completely, hilariously out of our control.
The hidden bill, AI's energy crisis.
That funny channeling robot needs a lot of power to think its funny thoughts. And that, our friends, is becoming a very, very expensive problem. While we're all getting excited about the latest AI features, the physical infrastructure that makes it possible data centers are eating up enormous amounts of electricity. And for the first time, people are really starting to feel the consequences. According to a recent analysis, a majority of consumers, now say they're worried that the boom in AI and data centers is driving up their electricity bills. This isn't an abstract problem anymore. This is my power bill is 50% higher than last year problem. And it's putting the entire AI industry in the crosshairs. People love using AI to generate images or write emails, but do they love it enough to pay a steep price at home, potentially for a service they don't directly use? This is especially acute here in Europe. We have a different energy landscape than, say, the United States. Energy prices are higher, and there's a much stronger public and political focus on green energy and sustainability. The EU's Green Deal sets ambitious climate goals, and a fleet of new, power-hungry data centers can seem at odds with that mission. So, what's the industry to do? One answer is efficiency. Researchers are desperately trying to build algorithms that need less computational power. Another is location-building data centers in places with cheap, abundant, and ideally green energy, like near hydroelectric dams, or even, as some have suggested, next to new nuclear power plants. But there's also a public relations battle to be fought. Tech giants will need to be more transparent about their energy use and their plans to mitigate it. They need to convince the public that the benefits of AI are worth the cost, because if they don't, they could face a serious consumer backlash. And with that, tougher regulations that could slow down the very innovation they're so excited about. The AI revolution was always going to have a physical cost. We're just now starting to get the bill. And how we as consumers, as businesses, as a society decide to pay it will shape the future of this technology for decades to come.
The Quiet Giant, unpacking Europe's bending spoons.
So we've seen AI's creative, unpredictable side and its hungry, resource-intensive side. Now, let's shift gears and look at the business of tech, and a story that proves Europe has some serious players of its own. Unless you're deep in the European tech scene, you've probably never heard of a company called Bending Spoons, and that's kind of how they like it. They're an Italian tech firm that has been flying completely under the radar, even while their portfolio of apps, which includes things like photo editors and video players, has been downloaded by over 500 million people. But recently, Bending Spoons stepped out of the shadows. They made a huge move. They acquired AOL. Yes, that AOL, along with its other brands like Yahoo and Engadget, from their parent company. This is a massive symbolic deal. A European startup, founded in Milan, buying a legacy of the American internet. It's like a young, nimble tech giant from the old world, acquiring a piece of the new world's digital history. So, who are Bending Spoons? They're not a typical VC-fueled, hyper-growth-at-all-costs company. They are famously private, bootstrapped for much of their life, and obsessed with product quality and profitability. They acquire promising apps, pour their engineering and marketing expertise into them, and turn them into global hits. Their acquisition of AOL shows they are now ready to play an even bigger game, moving from mobile apps into media and content. What does this tell us? It's a powerful sign that the European tech scene is maturing. It's not just about copycat apps or hoping to be the next Spotify. It's about building sustainable, highly profitable companies that have the confidence and the capital to make big, bold, strategic moves on the global stage. It signals a shift in the balance of power. The flow of talent, money, and ambition isn't just one way from the US to Europe anymore. Bending Spoons might be a quiet giant, but their roar is getting louder. And their story is a fantastic counterpoint to the other narratives we've discussed today. While the technology itself is going through some messy, awkward growing pains, the business of building that technology in Europe is perhaps coming of age. So there you have it. An AI robot with a soul full of pop culture, a staggering energy bill for our digital future, and a quiet Italian giant that just bought a piece of the internet. 3 different stories, all tied together by the theme of a technology in transition. We saw AI finding a strange, hilarious personality. We saw it hitting a massive, real-world resource constraint. And we saw the European ecosystem becoming sophisticated enough to write its own global success story. These are the growing pains of an industry that is no longer just a promise. It's here, it's physical, and it's reshaping our world in ways that are both profound and unpredictable. The future of AI isn't just about smarter code. It's about managing its personality, its appetite, and its place in our world. Thanks for listening to Byte of Truth. Follow us on social media for more updates, and use the hashtag Byte of Truth to join the conversation. I'm Sébastien. Join me next time for another Byte of the Truth.